Yo, what's going on, YouTube family? It's your man Jeremy Doodoo here, and in this video, I want to talk to you guys about a recent hobby that I picked up middle of last year when the pandemic was getting really bad. And the new hobby I picked up is crystals. You heard me right. The crystals, the stones, the rocks, the voodoo, hippy dippy woo woo spiritual stones that you hear about. You know, the Erica Badu types use them. Yeah, I got into it. And the reason I wanted to make a video on this topic is because before last year, I would have thought, I used to think in my own mind, I wouldn't say it out loud, but I used to be like, yo, anybody who uses crystals, that's just some voodoo. Get it away from me. I would just be so ignorant to, the whole crystal community. And my bad. I apologize for thinking all those thoughts, because now I see all the positive effects that it's brought into my life. Just interpersonal, the way that I think, the way that I carry myself, the way that I feel, the way that I show up as a dad, as a husband. I feel like using crystals has just been one of those tools that have helped me practice mindfulness and patience, right? And I just wanted to touch on a few things that I've learned using these crystals, because it's such a surprise to me, right? So I thought that I should share some of the things that I've learned in my journey. So if you're ignorant towards crystal yourself, or there's something that you want to get into that you've been curious about, hopefully this video will help you out. And I know that it's unrelated to design, so some of my subscribers, they might be like, this is not for me, and that's totally okay. I'm not just going to go down the deep end and start talking about crystals all the time, but I do think that sharing some of my hobbies might get you interested in other things, because I feel like as a designer, you keep your mind open, and that keeps your skills sharp. It keeps your creativity sharp, and it's just one of those things that has really helped me in different ways. So enough talk about that. Let's get into it. So the main reason I started using crystals is because I have a condition called IBS. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's just a stomach issue. If I eat something that's really spicy, it'll jack me up. So last year, one of the first restaurants we went to during the pandemic was Acapulco. We got some takeout from Acapulco. I got some enchiladas, and I got jacked up for like 3 months. And it was the worst that this thing has ever been in my life. Like my stomach was in pain every day, and it got to the point where I was feeling depressed on a daily basis. So I read this book called Spiritual Hacking by an author named Shaman Durek. And in the book, he mentioned this stone called Hematite, which he says heals stomach ailments. And supposedly he said that it draws out the negative energy from your body, and that it's really strong. So I went to the crystal shop in desperation, the nearest crystal shop to where I live, and I saw that it was less than 15 bucks. And I was like, I have nothing to lose. I've already spent hundreds of dollars at doctors who tell me they can do nothing for me. So I got this stone, right? And I came home. I meditated with it for 3 or 4 days. And while I would meditate, I would rub it on my stomach with the intention that this thing was taking out whatever negative energy I had in my body through my mind's eye. So after 3 or 4 days, the pain had completely resolved, and I became a believer, right? I was like, oh, I don't think this is hippy dippy stuff. My bad. I didn't know this stuff was that powerful, So I was like, well, God made nature, so nature is powerful, right? But honestly, like, I felt like this was one of the first things in the past 4 years of me having this condition that has worked. And from what I've read in blog posts or books from the crystal community, they say that when you believe in the healing properties of these stones, that's the only way that they work. And it's not a surprise to me, you know. Like, there are people who take placebo pills and they get healed from cancer or whatever ailment they have. So I don't know if it's that kind of thing where if I believed in the stone so much that it was going to heal me, that I was actually healing myself through positive thoughts and positive emotions that I was having. But I got healed, right? I haven't had a severe stomach issue since. But then, you know, I was like, you know what? I got to go back to this crystal shop. I'm so surprised that this thing works. So I went back to the crystal shop, not looking for anything that could heal an ailment, but I walked in there, and this stone, I'll zoom in on it really close for you guys. I saw this stone and it caught my eye. I was like, yo, this stone reminds me of Nego or Pharrell's chain back in the day when I was a kid, and I used to really look up to Pharrell. And you know, I was like, if I ever make it big time as a designer, I'm gonna go to Ben Baller, who's a jeweler here in LA, and get this thing cut up and put it on my ring finger or my pinky, and use it as a pinky ring. You know, like a little pimp or something. I don't know. I'll get it on my pinky ring or my ring finger, and I also want to melt it into a necklace. You know, I just think it looks fly. So I got it because of the beauty. Like, this rock is just so beautiful to me. It's one of my favorite rocks just because of the bling bling that it has. And then after that rock, I got this one, which is a rose quartz, and this one, from what I hear, it heals your heart chakra. And the reason I bought this rock is because my family and I, we took my wife and myself, we took my daughter to Palm Springs, and she was 6 months old at the time, and the Airbnb that we stayed at had this stone all over the place. And it just brings back all the positive memories of chilling by the pool at 1, 2 in the morning, dancing with my daughter, and all those positive vibes that we had. It just, anytime I feel down, looking at this stone takes me back to some of those memories. So it's just a real sentimental stone to me. And I won't show you all my stones. I have my little baggie downstairs, unfortunately, but I'll show you guys a picture of my stones. And you know, another thing that I've learned is that they are just beautiful pieces of nature's art. As an illustrator, I used to find myself going down this internet rabbit hole on Pinterest or Unsplash, looking for, you know, really nice photos to get inspired by when I would do my illustration work. But since I got these crystals, it just helps me see all the amazing work that God has created in this world that we can be inspired by. There is so much nature and so many things around us to be inspired by, whether that be plants, whether that be rocks, whether that be, you know, just the way the weather is on a particular day. It just helps me appreciate the simplicity of what's around me. If you're into the hippy dippy stuff, the woo woo talk, we could touch on that a little bit. I've read about stones that elicit lucid dreaming, or they put you in touch with your spirit guides. And from my personal experience, before I used crystals in my meditation practice, I would go to sleep, I'd dream, I'd recall that I had a dream for a little bit, but I couldn't remember the entire dream, right? But since I started using these crystals, I will dream and I'll feel like I'm totally conscious and aware that I'm having a dream in my dream. And there have been a few dreams where I've had dreams with my mom and my grandmother who have passed on. I've had dreams with other family members who have passed on, and I can remember the conversations that we had. So I don't know if it's the stones or, you know, just me going through a midlife crisis at 32. I have no idea, but that's just my personal experience. Hopefully these are just things that help you become open-minded to something that's new and foreign. If you thought the same way that I did, that all these people who use crystals are just voodoo people. You know, it's just a cool hobby that has brought back, like I said earlier, that childlike curiosity to just learn something that's new, and it gets your mind thinking in a different way. It's really easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind, whether you're looking for a job, and then when you're on the job, you're trying to complete your work, your head's down, you're trying to do side projects to keep steady, you're trying to keep up with all the new tools, and your mind is constantly going and going and going and going, and it never ends, right? So I just feel like what I've learned as a designer over the years is that your career is a marathon, right? And you know, when I was younger, I want to get it and get it and get it, but I see that hustle culture that I was a part of, and that, you know, I was so into, it caught up to me health-wise, and you know, I just see how important your health is each day, and these crystals are just a tool that I've used as a way to be mindful, practice patience, and practice you know, gratitude for the people around me, and the things that are around me, right? Nature, plants, all of that. So if this video opened up your mind or changed your mindset just a little bit, right, you already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.